Okay, guys, we are live. Sorry about changing the time a little bit, but just had to tidy around a bit because it's just I just gotten home from work. This week has been really, really busy. Probably the busiest week I've ever encountered. I've had a lot to make up for in terms of hours worked. So I wanted to make sure that I reached my minimum with trying to get my number of hours in. So now that that's taken care of, now we can move on to some fun stuff. No more having to deal with a bunch of screeching harpies and hey, Cement, how you doing? Long time no see, man. All right, so what we're doing here is we have another box that came in the delivery. Hey, Ann, how you doing? So we're just gonna be opening this up. All right, there we go. Just take that. Hope everyone here is having a great day. Hey, Fanta, how you doing? Always happy to see you here, Fanta. The Angel of Death. Well, I was happy about her being an Angel of Death, and then that music made me all creepy. Hey, Pam, glad you're here too. Pam, you've been doing a very good job with the Johnny Depp doll. Eyes look amazing. Sweater looks great. Arm and legs are amazing. All right, so we got this. Now let's cut right through the middle. All right. There we go. Voila. And here we go. Scaredy cat roamer. Hey, everybody's afraid of death. It's only natural. And speaking of natural, we now have our product. Introducing N-acetyl L-cysteine. This is what they use to treat those who have any kind of toxicity in their liver. Specifically, if you try to overdose on Tylenol, or if you've taken something which can damage your liver badly, this stuff can clean you right up. Unfortunately, it will not get rid of my perversions. That's something that's going to be stuck with me for life, I'm afraid. Actually, no, I'm not afraid. Hands are burning, though. Feels like I have ants crawling under my skin. I think I underdo it. I told you I'm the sweetest angel of darkness ever. I believe that. Those wings, though, the way that they spread, just like you're just ready to like walk up and I want a wrench, damn it. Hey, Rosetta, in due time, you will get your wrench, and yeah, just make sure you don't shove your wrench up my ass because it's quite delicate. All right, you will get your wrench, not to worry. Yep, so anyway, this came in the mail. So this N-acetylcysteine is what's going to be useful for me whenever I need to clear up any like toxic chemicals that I've been breathing, especially from the N95 masks. And the toxic chemical specifically I'm talking about is called graphene oxide. This is what gets activated when you start breathing droplets into your mask. So like all these water droplets that you breathe in and out, or if you like spit into something, it activates the oxide, and then you start breathing that into your body, and it can actually damage your lungs. And this stuff can actually be very bad. Hello, hen. Are you ready to be high for me? I believe you will. As I was saying, this stuff is definitely going to help you a lot in terms of getting rid of the toxic stuff inside your body, like the graphene oxide, the stuff that comes in through the chemical that comes in through the mask. And what I like about this product, the reason why I got this product over the pills is over the capsules and the pills is because the pills have an ingredient called magnesium stearate, which is it's what they call an anti-caking agent. It's the stuff that prevents lumps from forming in specific foods, and that stuff can actually be really bad for your stomach. I've done research on it, and magnesium stearate could actually trigger migraines. So it could explain why I tend to have a bit of a pulsing headache sometimes. So what I did was I decided to take this because the best thing about this is there's no sugar, no soy, no dairy, no yeast, no gluten, corn, or additives. You are a pain in the arse, Romer. I planned my schedule around yours and you bloody changed yours. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait, no, I'm not. I will spank you later, not to worry. Anyways, don't worry. This stream actually isn't gonna last long. Like, I'll probably make it like, probably like, another 25 minutes at most. But so this was just the main thing, the N-acetylcysteine. So the other thing I wanted to, focus on mainly was what's going on with my life, like ever since I got my epiphany, because, it's really put into perspective what I need to do in order to live a better life, in order to make sure that I don't have any anxiety whatsoever. And here's what's going on. So there are times when I really need to, I think I need some of that rum, or I feel kind of blah. Well, stop drinking so much then, Fanta. You gotta be able, you gotta save the drinking for when we're together and when we do questionable things to each other. So, anyways, in regards to my epiphany, in regards to focusing on what I, what I need to become a better person, it goes like this. I learned, the hard way that you cannot you cannot help everyone in this world, no matter how hard you try. And I feel like I've been trying too hard to help to please people, to make them happy, because I myself know what it's like to be extremely miserable. And when there's someone that you're really close to who is like, a mirror image of you, and you see yourself in them, and they tell you that you're doing something wrong, you know that something needs to change. So that's when I stopped trying to give my life to people more than I need to anyways, to balance myself in order to help those that I care about whilst making myself the primary focus. Happiness does lie within, and it's something that does take a while to perfect, but for the first time I actually want to be able to perfect myself, to make myself happy. But in order to do that, I have to first get rid of the things which make me miserable. That's why I decided, at the end in the end of December is going to be my probation period at the hospital that I'm working. It'll be 6 month probation, so I'll be done by then. And when that time comes, the decision I'm making is, I'm going to leave that hospital, because the the things they expect of you, they expect you to be a perfectionist at that hospital, and that's impossible with the amount of hours you have to work. We're expected to work. Not everyone wants to help themselves. If they don't want to help themselves, then you can't help them. Exactly, Hen. Everyone has their own battle to fight, and the thing is, sometimes you see that they're trying to do a lot of good for others, and that alone is what makes you want to help them, so that way they can keep spreading that. But we all have our demons, and some people really do mean it when they say that they can't be helped, like, that they don't want help. And, sometimes, I feel like they're just being sometimes I just feel like that's low self-esteem talking, but then I don't realize how bad it gets, and then I push it too far, where I do more harm than good. Thank you, Anne. That it really means a lot. The fact that I use this, the fact that I realize this is what helped me get rid of my anxiety. I mean, I still have my bad days, but I don't let it affect me anymore. If people tell me I do something wrong, okay, that's fine. I pick my battles now. I decide what I want to focus on, which I know is going to help me, and not focus on things which I know is not going to make a big impact for me in the long run. I know that this job is not going to make, like, staying in this position for a long time is not going to make a big impact on me because I feel like I've already learned what I need to learn. If anything, all this job does is it gives you a foot to step into, so that way it helps you get a foot into the door, so that way you can go to the next step. But you have to wait 6 months to get to that next step. That's what I feel doing because there's only so much you can handle in this world. You only live once. You got to be able to enjoy as much happiness as possible. And that can't be done by doing a job that's going to drain you of that happiness, especially in times like this. You need to get out for your own sanity, Romer. Yeah, I'm having to step away from trying to help some people. Well, do what you need to do what you need to do what you can to help yourself, Hen. This goes for everybody. And this is something I have to realize as well. When I had my epiphany, when I got rid of my anxiety, I also realized something that's also crucial. What works for me is not what works for everybody else. There is no universal cure-all for a specific thing, and that's something I recently learned when I went to travel to my colleague's place in Dublin. She's a very nice lady. She's in her early 50s, very pleasant person. She helped me pass my Irish licensing exams in order to get into Ireland. And when I went to visit it, I brought some sweets for her, some white chocolate raspberry cookies, those ginger snap cookies, and a few other things. Some similar stuff that I also brought over for Bree in Arizona. And then we went to have some fish and chips at a place called Kingfisher Restaurant. Delicious. Well, actually, sorry, the Kingfisher Restaurant. That's where I had the Whirly Burger. That was the meal that I had like every day when I was studying for my licensing exams. Extremely delicious, very juicy. And then we went to some fish and chips, a place she told me probably the best fish and chips I ever had. And I still remember that because I did it with someone that helped me out a lot. Like, I feel that memories are best made when you're with people that you really care about, that care about you, vice versa, that kind of thing. We took lots of pictures together. We went to Phoenix Park, walking around. I even recorded a video of her like giving a monologue, like something important in regards to how you live life. And this was part of what helped me with my epiphany. She said that the reason why most people feel like they're miserable, like they're not doing the things they want to do, is because something's holding them back. They feel like they don't have the energy to do so. They're always in a constant state of negative belief. Now, of course, naturally, there are people who have certain sicknesses which are weighing them down. And that's that's where things get a little bit complicating. But I think the message still stands that, you know, the more you believe you can do something, the more likely it is to happen. When you take the step forward to accomplish what you want to accomplish, you're already halfway there. You have what it takes to do things. People don't realize that they do have the power to change themselves, to change as much of the world as they can. Unfortunately, we can't change the whole world, not by ourselves anyway, that is. We always need to be working as a team. And that's what me and that colleague did. We worked together as a team and we ended up passing together. And what made her go on all the time was just her thinking positive, believing positive, and then she receives the positiveness. You know what they say, treat others the way you want to be treated, and definitely don't force it. Because when you feel like you're too happy, that's where an arrogance sets in, and then you think you can do anything in the world, and that's a very big mistake. What's good for the goose is not it's not what's good for the gander. We have to really, because all of us really are unique in our own ways. We have to treat other people, a specific way. We can't just, use the same approach to help people. There are always going to be differences. There's always going to be different ways to help them in terms of flexibility, what questions to ask, how they're going through life, that kind of stuff. I think another thing that's important is I always try to be positive and show people the silver lining. That's the most realistic thing to do. Such wise words, Romer. Thank you, Anne. I've always been a believer of Otto von Bismarck's quotation where he says that a fool learns from his own mistakes and a wise person learns from other people's mistakes. But there are times where even a wise person ends up being a fool because he ends up getting into situations he's never encountered before. So in some ways, I guess you could say I'm a wise fool, like Dr. Pangloss in Candide. A defense attorney, Scott Reich, says there are two kinds of people in the world: those who are humbled and those who are about to be. Hmm. It is interesting. It's a very interesting one. And that's true. That actually, no. Now that I think about it, you're right, man. This all comes with experience. Like humility has to come with experience. And usually experience involves having to grow. But in order to grow, you have to lose something. You have to let go of something. The problem is some of us tend to let go of the wrong things, and that ends up making us go. Kind of like pride goeth before the fall. Exactly. You have to give something up. You have to lose in order to win. Something horrible has to happen in order for something amazing to happen. That's actually what happened to a friend back home in Mississauga. This is my hometown, and this was around last July when I was at my lowest. Like that's when I wanted to kill myself, to throw myself onto a rocky ledge. I was about to, but something stopped me from doing so. And then he was there, and then his other two friends were there, and he told me, something important. And he had gone through so much in his life. He had been to jail, he had been SA'd, he had been R'd, and he was also in the military. and was doing drugs. He was an alcoholic, massive cerebellar damage, a lot of PTSD throughout his life. He told me, you know, that he loves life. He knows that there's nothing left after this life. So enjoy what there is, because I'm enjoying what I have because I've been to the worst, through the worst of it. So I think it's unfair for me to say that I've been through a tough time, but I am doing my best to, appreciate what I have in life, especially with what you guys are going through. Because I know a lot of you a lot of you watching right now have been through, unimaginable things similar to what my friend went through. And I try to do my best to understand, but the truth is, you can't fully understand a person 100%, because that would imply that you've been with them their entire life, which you haven't, even though it feels like you have. Getting to know each other, that stuff takes time, because there are always going to be events, like there's always going to be obstacles in the way where you feel like the friendship is going smoothly, and then you feel like you're about to hit a go through a detour or something. I think that's when the true test of friendship occurs, when the detours happen, because then you make the decision of, do I try to fix this? Do I want to make up for it? Or do I just let this go and try to find a different way to live it? Well, gotta go, gotta shower my funky butt. Love you, Romer. Love you, chat. Truly, I do. Well, I love you too, Fanta. I hope you have a very nice shower and that your butt is always nice and funky and ready to show to the rest of the world. I have PTSD. It's been classified as chronic PTSD. I didn't know there was a bad kind and a worse kind, but apparently I have the worst kind, but I'm not winning any sad story contests. I don't think that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be a contest. We all have a story to tell. For some people, some stories, only last a few pages, while many of them can last, they could be longer than Gone with the Wind, which is, over 1,000 pages. No matter how small or how big a story is, we're all connected. There all is some kind of impact, which is another thing that my colleague said. We are our own God. We as an individual are God. We are the masters of our fate. We are the ones who decide what we want to do with our lives. And the moment you believe that you can create anything that you want, is the moment you become powerful, that you become invincible. I just meant that there are those who are much worse off. I don't want to look like I'm complaining or discounting what others are enduring. You shouldn't. No, 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 not at all. It's okay, Cement. This is what this is what I think is one of the best things about me. I'm always willing to listen to others, because I want to be able to help them when they want help. I want to listen to what's bothering them, see what I can do. But in the end, they're the ones that need to decide what's best for them. They're the ones who walk through the door. All I can do is show them a door. They need to walk through it. Life is not a pissing match, it's a journey. My journey is my own, yours is your own. We have the power to manifest reality with our energy and time. Exactly. And I think sometimes we forget along the road that whenever we're, doing things for other people, we tend to forget about ourselves, because we're too busy enjoying each other, that we don't realize, what's going on, how we're supposed to keep our own lives in balance. And that's something that I want to be able to fix on myself. Hey DJ, how you doing, man? Complex PTSD is the worst. You're right, it has ostracized me. Hey, you've been through a lot, man, but I am proud of you, DJ, because you have showed me a whole new world of music from your side of the view. There are so many things that I thought I knew about music, but you, especially, being Canadian and and showing me the true history of like, the crude side of Canada, that opened my eyes. That made me realize, I still have a lot to learn. I enjoy being more of a listener than a talker. I already know all my own stories, and whether you're genuinely interested in others and not just feigning interest to be polite helps people. Agreed. Absolutely. That's the key thing. You have to be interested. You can't just say, "Okay, I hear you," because then you're not hearing, because that means you're not listening to people. There's a difference between hearing people and listening to people. When you hear someone, you hear what comes out of their mouth. But when you listen to people, you hear what they're trying to say and what they're trying to mean, like, and what exactly it is they're trying to say. Listening isn't a passive activity, it's engaging. Exactly. It's all about engaging with others. And usually the way to know whether someone is really engaging isn't based on how they talk. It's not about what comes out of their mouth, but the tone. And this is something I learned when I was taking a Jewish philosophy course. 90% of what we communicate with each other is all based on tone. If the tone sounds fake and disingenuous, then what they're saying, what comes out of their mouth is bullshit. You have to have the proper tone. Like you could look like the most like cynical piece of shit out of there, but if you have a tone that sounds ingenuous, I would rather have that than someone who seems cheerful all the time, but then when you try to put yourself in their shoes about how they react and the shallowness of their tone, you can't take that person seriously. You know that what they're speaking about is all superficial, and you don't want to be interested in that stuff. And I think that's another reason why I'm also quitting the like working in the hospital because most of the hospital staff around there are extroverts. And I watched a clip with Jordan Peterson the other day, and he says that whenever there's a relationship involved between an extrovert and an introvert, the introvert that's actually considered one of the least healthiest relationships because then when the extrovert tends to get very energized when they're around people, but the introvert is more energized when they're by themselves. And me being an introvert, well, what's it say? Hearing without listening is like waiting for them to stop speaking so you can resume talking, and people can tell the difference of you're going through the motions. Exactly. Exactly. And I think the thing is we tend to forget that sometimes we're trying to talk so much, like other people are talking, and then you're waiting for them to say something that you could relate to, so that way you can give your 2 cents and then just disregard everything else they're saying just for like, short-term gratitude. We need to be able to be more open-minded as people, so that way we know that we want to help them and not just pretend that we want to help them. I miss you all and have DM'd all involved. Some chose not to read it, so there's nothing else I can do. Well, fair enough, DJ. Fair enough. I need to connect with others. It's so important because I don't have much of a social life, yet crave adult interaction. I sympathize with that a lot, Pam, because it's what I want, because I think it's what all of us really want. We all want to be with someone that we feel we can talk to about anything, that we don't have to feel ashamed about what we talk about. Someone like me, especially. I mean, the way that I like to be very crude, very perverted, that kind of stuff. That's just me, that's me expressing my sense of humor. And it's not going to be to everyone's taste, and that's okay because you can't please everyone in this world. The key thing is to find a few group of friends that make you feel like you could say anything, and then you don't have to feel ashamed, you don't have to feel guilty about what you say, you don't have to hide anymore, and I think that's great. I think it's also a great test to see what makes us what makes a friendship last throughout the years. So there's nothing wrong with what you said at all, Pam, because we all want to interact with others. We all want to be able to, get along with each other. We think, that we want that by having more, we'll be happier, but that's not always the case. I mean, someone like me, an introvert, you tend to be satisfied whenever there's one person that I can share with anything that I want with them and they accept me for who I am. They don't have to agree with it, but they accept me. And that is the number one key value in any kind of friendship. My interacting with people is here on YouTube. I lack a social life and I'm okay with it. Same here, Sherry. I am probably like I was extremely lonely growing up. I was a black sheep, and I think I've become more of a black sheep of the family. Well, I think actually, you know what? Growing up, I was considered the favorite child because I always listened to my parents. While my sister was a rebel, and she always rebelled against my parents. Like they're always getting into bickering and fights, whether she can borrow the car, go to a party, stuff that my parents were like, extremely against. This definitely started becoming a thing when she turned 13, which is normal in the North American world, but in the Eastern European world, it's a different story. So when you have two different worlds clashing like that, expect a lot of differences in opinion. And that's something I had to, deal with. And I think that's part of why didn't really get involved in any kind of drama because I didn't want to end up like my sister. But as I grew up and then she became independent and started doing things on her own, then I realized, my parents wanted to do the same for me that they did for her. And then my opinion of them started changing a bit because they wanted to just enforce more of what they felt was important to me. And you can't do that. I mean, it's good that you want to have your kids become successful, but, being successful is not the same thing as being happy. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not happy with what you've done, with what you've accomplished, then it's all for nothing. And that's how I feel about what I'm doing with this career path. I mean, I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I mean, there's always good benefits with what you can learn. But is it something that I want to do the rest of my life so I can tell my stories to other people who may be interested? No, it's not. And that's why I will be leaving, at the end of December, whether I get another job offer or not. Because working in a public setting like this is a nightmare. Everyone treats you like you're the bad guy. Like there's no communication between the nurses and the consultants. You have to do all the work yourself. They don't help you, you have to help yourself. Which, actually is a good test. It helps test your initiative to see whether you have the passion to do what you want. But this isn't what I want to do is the problem. But I did learn that, sometimes in life you do have to suffer in order to become happy. And that's why I'm glad that I have you guys here. Please know that I am a good listener and I'm always here if anyone wants to talk. Thank you, Anne. You know what? Anne, I want you to post your YouTube channel on here if you can. Otherwise, one of the mods can do it. I think Fanta, yeah, you can like copy the channel and then or you could just email, or you could just message her through Twitter or Discord, and then that way that could help. Let's see what else we got going on here. I'd trade all the money in the world to have my health back the way it was when I was 19. Wow. Wow. That's a powerful statement. That is powerful. Everyone wants to be as like young in terms of physical fitness and mental fitness. I can't relate to you as much as I can't relate to that because I haven't gone through as much as you have, Cement. But what I will say is, there's not a day that goes by where I wish I was a kid again. I feel like everything went worse after I turned 12, after I graduated from elementary school, because I felt like all the innocence and purity was gone around me, and I just wanted to keep that. Everyone just keeps talking about, like, getting drunk, having sex, all these crazy stuff, which back then, I was completely oblivious to, or just didn't want to be involved in it. My health in a map job, I'd survive, or in a mop job. Well, for me, if I would trade all the money in the world, just to have, happiness in terms of memories, because there's so many memories I have, but I just, for some reason, I can't really explain it in detail. I've always had a trouble with expressing things, with saying things in, like, in details, making stories up. That's why I was a failure in English, because I just didn't know how to express myself. I was shy, I was awkward, couldn't really interact with anyone except one person, which is usually the case. It's hard for me to make friends. Yeah, well, it was back then, but now, I mean, it's easier, but there are still challenges. In my opinion, there are never really was a time of innocence, but the sordid realities were better camouflaged. Hmm. That that is definitely something that again, experience really goes through it. What's this? Oh man, I love that. Editing, wordsmithing, poetry came into my life in fifth grade. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Some people love poetry. Some people loves editing, wordsmithing, making things up in terms of that. But I was never really programmed to do that. I was more programmed to go into mathematics because I'm more of a logical person. I see things as either having a correct or an incorrect answer. One could argue that it is narrow-minded, but for me, I think always having a correct answer is what helps me relieve my anxiety, which unfortunately, when it comes to real life, it's not always going to be the case, which I which I learned the hard way when I was going through medical school and having to deal with personal situations. It's it's definitely something that serves as a challenge, but that's something I don't want it to get in my way of trying to develop myself as a person. Like I want to get rid of my weaknesses. I want they say a strong person is someone who knows what their weaknesses is. I know what my weaknesses are. My self-esteem is a weakness. My social skills are a weakness. Me trying to understand people, like really be in their shoes, is a massive weakness. I want to be able to get past that and really become a better person by eliminating those weaknesses. Prose poetry is surprisingly lit. I don't have a YouTube channel, Romer, but I am on Instagram and Discord, and am happy to talk on WhatsApp. Oh, you have WhatsApp. Oh, very good. Okay, so what you can do is, not sure if you're in my Discord, but if you aren't, you can pop into my someone can get I can someone can post the Discord invite group onto the chat, and then you could pop in, and then you can exchange information from there, and help people through there on Discord. Don't really use Instagram that much. Kind of hesitant on WhatsApp. Nothing personal, of course. But of course, for anyone else who's interested in, by all means, go ahead. And that's another thing I sort of want to cover as well. And stay away from NSFW. No, it's okay. All we do in NSFW is just we just expose our deepest desires, and engage in meaning in ways that help us form deep connections with each other. So that's that. Ooh, it's getting a little dark now. Sunset's coming. Actually, daylight savings time is coming up here soon. I can't drop links. I don't have a spanner. Oh, sorry about that. I think Fanta has one though, so we can take care of that. Oh yeah, gotta still need to carve my pumpkin. Yeah, work has been a big pain in my ass. Like I said in the beginning, of fast 5 days. We'll probably make something a little bit interesting for this pumpkin. Nothing too original. Well, actually, to be honest, I haven't carved a pumpkin in, I'd say, 10 years. So getting back into it is going to be a little weird, a little scary, but I'll manage with what I can. Use my imagination, and we can go from there. Anyways, I'm gonna be ending this stream soon. Just wanted to update you on that. Like I said, I will be leaving. I'm gonna be ending it like at the end of the year. So, I mean, I'm gonna be ending, the job I'm doing there, because I need to enjoy life. Like, this pandemic is really restricting me, and I don't want I don't want it to restrict me anymore. I want to fight against it. I want to keep moving forward and not having it push me back into limbo. And I'm really hoping I'll be able to oh, spanner equals wrench. Oh my God, you Brits and your dialects. Yikes. Okay. All right, let's see what I can. Oh, right. Oh, that's right. I can't do it because I'm not on my YouTube. That's why. Oops. God. Sometimes I forget when I'm streaming with my phone. I can't access YouTube. Otherwise, it'll just kick me out of the StreamYards, which is stupid, but uh, that's just me being lazy. Anyways, just wanted to, update you on that. We'll see what happens in terms of, where I'm going to go after that, but I already know what I need to do in order to get rid of the big headache in my life. All right, thank you, Pam. I hope you have a great weekend as well. Oh, and for those interested, we're going to be watching a movie. We have a movie night coming up in 4 hours. We're going to be watching a horror comedy, which is going to be hosted by Eagle Rider, aka Rosetta, aka Oh for fuck's sake. And I hope you all can come in, and we can enjoy each other. All right. Otherwise, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here and for letting me express myself. Here I am, Roman Migtel, signing off. Take care.